I remember the exact moment my world shifted. My phone buzzed on the kitchen counter, and I picked it up without thinking. The text was from her, short and ordinary, or so it seemed. "I'll be home late tonight." No explanation, no reason, just those words floating there like a warning I couldn't read yet. I stared at the screen for a long moment, my thumb hovering over the reply button. A dozen questions crowded my mind. Was it work? Friends? Something she didn't want me to know? But I didn't type a single word. I didn't argue. I didn't demand an explanation. I simply walked away, leaving the phone on the counter, as if ignoring it could make whatever was coming less real. I told myself I was overthinking it. She worked late sometimes. People had nights out. And yet, the pit in my stomach refused to settle. By the time I sat on the couch, the silence of our apartment was almost deafening. I remembered the little things, the laughter over coffee that now felt forced, the way she always kissed my cheek in the mornings, the warmth in her smile, and suddenly, they felt like rehearsed performances. The next few days were small betrayals in disguise. Missed calls, messages left unopened. She'd laugh off my questions, say she was tired, that it was just a busy week. But the excuses felt hollow. I caught her phone lighting up when she thought I wasn't looking. Conversations ending too quickly, her voice changing tone when I entered the room. And with every "it's nothing," I felt a weight settle on my chest, heavy and immovable. I started questioning myself first. Was I imagining things? Was my mind twisting normal behavior into something sinister because of my own insecurities? I replayed our last conversations in my head, looking for clues, searching for signs that I had missed. Every little omission, every casual lie suddenly screamed at me, and I realized how fragile trust had become. Then came the moment that shattered any remaining doubt. I didn't plan it. It wasn't cinematic, nothing dramatic. I was charging my laptop when a message preview flashed across the screen of her unlocked phone. A name I didn't recognize. A thread of text that made my chest tighten. I read a snippet. "Can't wait to see you tonight. No one can know." Time slowed. I set the phone down, my hands trembling, my mind a storm of disbelief and fury. Every memory, every tender moment we had shared, suddenly felt tainted, as if I had been living with a stranger under my own roof. The betrayal wasn't violent or shouted. It was quiet, insidious, and far more painful because it was real. I confronted her later that night. The way she avoided my gaze, the falter in her voice, it confirmed everything. The words tumbled out in a mixture of shame and panic, half confessions and excuses. She said she didn't mean for it to happen, that it was complicated, that she loved me, but was enough to hollow out my chest. I felt anger, a scorching fire that made my hands shake. I felt heartbreak, a cold and slow ache that settled deep in my bones. But beneath it all was clarity, the brutal, undeniable clarity that the person I loved had made a choice, and I was no longer part of it. The days that followed were quiet and tense. I replayed our life together in my head, examining every laugh, every touch, every late-night conversation. Memories that once brought comfort now stung with betrayal. I struggled with myself. How could someone I trusted so completely turn their love into a lie? And yet, in the midst of that pain, I realized I didn't need answers from her anymore. I needed them for myself. The turning point came one evening when I stood at the edge of our empty apartment, her absence loud in its silence. I could feel the betrayal in my chest, but also a new, quieter strength. I didn't need confrontation anymore, didn't need to plead or cry. I realized I had a choice, to linger in the shadows of heartbreak or to reclaim the life I deserved. I left her a note, simple and unembellished, telling her I was walking away, not in anger, not in spite, but with the resolve to protect myself. No dramatics, no yelling, just an honest goodbye. And as I closed the door behind me for the last time, I felt the weight lift a little, the first breaths of freedom after months of suffocating uncertainty. In the weeks that followed, life felt raw and incomplete, but also startlingly real. I learned to trust my instinct again, to hold myself accountable for my own happiness rather than placing it in someone else's hands. The heartbreak didn't vanish. It never really does. but became part of my story, a reminder of the strength I never realized I had. I still remember that text, the one that set everything in motion. I'll be home late tonight. I don't remember it with anger anymore. I remember with a kind of quiet gratitude, because it forced me to see the truth, to face the betrayal, and most importantly, to walk away with my dignity intact.